In this video, we're going to talk about the tragic rise and fall of former Washington and Tennessee Titans quarterback Jake Locker. This video hits more at home for me because, of course, I live outside of Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm a big Tennessee Titans fan. And going into the Jake Locker era, I wasn't as high when the Titans drafted Jake Locker, but when you watch Jake Locker play, you instantly become a fan of Jake Locker simply because of how he gives everything he's got to that team. So I was rooting hard for him, but it just wasn't in the cards. Before we get into this video, guys, if you would do me one solid favor, like this video. It always helps push it out to a larger audience, and subscribe if you like what you see and join the community. Let's get into the video. Jake Locker grew up in Washington, so when he committed to Washington's football program, Huskies fans quickly dubbed him as the Montlake Jake and was expected to be the savior of the football program. As a redshirt freshman in 2007, Locker was named the Rivals.com Freshman of the Week following his 2 rushing touchdown performance in the opener at Syracuse. That year, Locker was named the Rivals 2007 Freshman Second Team All-American. He was named the Pac-10 Freshman of the Year in 2007. He set records for rushing yards in a season by a freshman with 986. Rushing yards in a season by a quarterback, 986, also was a Pac-10 record. Rushing attempts by a quarterback with 172. And passing yards by a freshman, he passed for 2,062 yards. Touchdowns passed by a freshman with 14. And the longest pass completion, 98 yards to Marcel Reese versus Arizona. He had a really good 2007 season. Going into 2008, the Huskies did not have a good year. They stumbled out of the gate, and then against Stanford on September 27th, Locker suffered a broken thumb and was sidelined for the remainder of the season, which ended at 0-12, the worst record in program history. 2009 was when Jake Locker really started to ascend and become an NFL prospect. He had some marquee victories. One was a 16-13 victory over third-ranked USC. Tied at 13-13 late in the fourth quarter, Locker engineered a 68-yard drive that ended with a 22-yard field goal with 3 seconds remaining that put the Huskies up 16-13. That win allowed the Huskies to move to 24th in the AP poll, which was the first time they've been ranked since 2003. They later went on to have a blowout win, 42-10 over 19th ranked California. They finished still up and down record at 5-7, but Jake Locker really started to have some NFL draft hype. But at a press release on December 14th, Jake Locker said he's coming back to play another year for his Washington football program. A lot of people thought that he should have just went ahead and went to the pros, but he decided to come back to his favorite school. Jake Locker's senior year was not as good as his junior year, but it was still solid, and he was able to get Washington into a bowl game where they won 19-7 over a heavily favored Nebraska team. That win lifted Locker's record to 16-24, a .400 average as a starter for the Huskies. 28 quarterbacks were selected in the first round of the NFL draft from 2000 to 2010, but only 5 of those had losing records. So the big question was coming forward out of Washington was, this Jake Locker kid's got a lot of talent, but he hasn't won a lot of games, of course, playing for a struggling Washington program. Jake Locker's final numbers with Washington was 619 completions out of 1,148 attempts, a completion percentage of 53.9, 7,639 total yards passing, 53 touchdowns, and 35 interceptions. Locker coming into the draft was known as this big, tall, strong-arm quarterback that could move. A lot of people, there were general managers out there who were saying that they kind of compared him to a Steve Young type. Of course, he just was not able to push Washington into a great winning program, and that had some concerns. Locker still was selected 8th overall in the 2011 draft by the Tennessee Titans. For his rookie season in 2011, he really was just a backup. He only saw a limited amount of action. His first real playing time was on November 20th against the Falcons when he replaced Matt Hasselbeck, who was hurt. In a losing effort, Locker did throw for 2 touchdowns and 140 yards. Locker completed his rookie season with 4 passing touchdowns as well as 1 rushing touchdown. He acted as the backup and occasional relief to Hasselbeck, playing in just 5 games. Going into 2012, it was a competition between Locker and Hasselbeck in the preseason, and Locker won that competition. In his first start at home against the Patriots, it was pretty rough. He threw for 229 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But his first win came on September 23rd against the Lions, where he threw for 373 yards, 2 scores, and a 44-41 overtime victory. But on September 30th, Locker tore his non-throwing shoulder and was replaced by Hasselbeck. The Titans finished 6-10 that year. Locker finished the 2012 season with 177 completions, 2,176 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. He rushed 41 times for 291 yards and a touchdown, playing in 11 games that year. The 2013 season was kind of up and down for Jake Locker, and it had a whole lot to do with injuries. On September 29th in 2013, in a 38-13 win over the New York Jets, where he just threw for 3 touchdowns, he was hit by 2 Jets defenders and ended up having a leg injury that was later diagnosed with a hip injury. He missed 3 weeks. He was backed up by Ryan Fitzpatrick at that time. Later, he came back, and then during November 10th loss against the Jacksonville Jaguars, he suffered a Liz Frank injury, which ended his season, and the Titans finished 7-9 that year. So then going into the 2014 season, the Titans declined the 5th-year option on Locker's contract, which is considered unsurprising due to the amount of history he had with injuries. So it was clear that going into 2014, it was a make or break season for Jake Locker. He started out the 2014 season under new head coach Ken Whisenhunt. He played in week 1 against the Chiefs and completed 66% of his passes and went 266 yards and 2 touchdowns with 0 interceptions. He had a passer rating of 111.4 during Week 3 loss against the Bengals, but Locker injured his right wrist and missed the next game against the Colts. He returned to play the Week 5 game against Cleveland Browns, but suffered a thumb injury before the second half. On October 22nd in 2014, Locker was benched along with Charlie Whitehurst in favor of rookie quarterback Zach Mettenberger. He returned to the start in Week 15 game against New York Jets and left the game with another shoulder injury. He was subsequently placed on injured reserve, ending his season. Despite having interest from other teams, Locker announced his retirement from the NFL on March 10th, 2015, after he said he lost his passion for the sport. He went a total of 408 completions, 709 attempts, 57.5 completion percentage, just 4,967 total yards passing, 27 touchdowns to 22 interceptions. He did tack on 5 rushing touchdowns, and he was sacked a total of 60 times. Due to the amount of injuries that it has built up over time through Washington and the Titans, he was just ready to be done. Locker resides in hometown of Ferndale, Washington with his family, including his wife, Lauren Greer, and their 4 children. Locker is also a coach for the high school football team and co-owns a gym with his former Buccaneers kicker Michael Conan called the Locker Room Fitness, a very fitting name for Jake Locker-owned fitness establishment. Locker has said he has no regrets over his decision to retire early despite being just 26 when he last featured in an NFL game. The former standout quarterback told Sports Illustrated Greg Bishop that he made the right choice. He reportedly said that he still would have opted for retirement even if he spent his NFL career winning multiple Super Bowls as a member of the Patriots. It was tough to see how Jake Locker's career kind of ended. He just never could stay healthy enough to be on the field and get a rhythm and grow as a quarterback. When he would start to make some significant jumps, He just had another injury waiting around the corner, and he could never launch off. And who knows if it ever would have worked out for Jake Locker, but it seems like he is perfectly content with his decision to get out of the NFL. He made some good money along the way, and he looks like he's doing just fine. As always, guys, if you did like this video, hit that thumbs up and let me know in the comment section below if there's someone else you would like me to hit a video on. Until next time, stay humble, stay kind. Peace.